This is our wedding planner.
The pressure is on, honestly.
Literally planning a wedding is a full-time job.
My biggest advice would be to everybody out there that if you can't afford a wedding planner,
I would say it's still 90% the bride, but like it used to be 99%, so we've bought an extra 9%.
I see a lot of couples go into so much detail, refining everything, and on the day, things are gonna happen that are out of your control.
Yo, it's DV.
And your girl Serena.
And this is Book Smart, Street Smart.
This is the podcast you need to watch if you're getting married in 2023 or 2024.
Today, we are joined by our wedding planner, Anisha Vasani, and we'll be talking all about all things wedding do's and wedding don'ts.
So Anisha Vasani started her career at Asiana Magazine, and she's now left that to pursue her dreams of wedding planning and creative consulting.
She's a busy lady. It was very difficult to get her in, but we managed it. We pulled it off. So make sure you stick all the way to the end. Like, share, and subscribe. Roll the intro. We got a special guest in the building. And when I say special, I mean special. The next lady is going to look after everything related to our wedding, and we are picky. Well, this one here, she's very picky. She was umming and ahhing, and she was like, it needs to be perfect. But there's literally nobody more perfect than our next guest. This is our wedding planner for our own wedding. The one, the only, the beautiful Anisha Vasani.
So excited.
Anisha, you have a big task on your hands.
I know, the pressure is on, honestly.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like planning a wedding of someone you're so close to, and now there's two of you. This is going to be really exciting.
I know.
Well, we'll touch on the wedding in a little bit, but talking of close to, so I have known you, Anisha, since I think we established earlier, since 2014. So
Wow.
6, 7, 8, about nearly 10 years I've known Anisha. So to give a bit of backstory, I actually entered into a beauty pageant when I was at uni for a magazine that you might know of. Stop it. Called Asiana Magazine.
Did you win?
Okay. Let's not rub salt
She
in
was
the
my
wound
winner.
here.
You were my winner.
She didn't pay Anisha off enough. But it's
We
okay.
had take payouts.
So you might remember Asiana Magazine, if you're listening right now. It was like the magazine that you would always want to read and go through if you were having a wedding. For me, I've been planning my wedding since I was 10. So I would always pick up that magazine, see all the models, the outfits, and I was just like, wow. And Anisha, you was the creative director of
And
Asiana
the editor,
Magazine.
yeah.
And the editor,
Editor and creative director for Asiana Magazine.
basically the brains behind it, let's just say.
Okay, now that's massive. I remember meeting you for the first time. I was shaking.
Oh,
I was like,
bless.
this woman is a powerhouse. I was like imagining, what's the Devil Wears, is it Devil Wears
Wears
Prada?
Prada,
I
yeah.
imagine you as that lady.
But less scarier. Less scarier.
Less scary. Now that I know you now, less scary. But at the time I was like, ah.
It was good, that.
Talk to us, right, about your time at Asiana Magazine. You was there for 10 years, wasn't you?
Yeah, 10 years. I was one of the youngest editors. And I was 24 years old when I was appointed as the editor, not only of Asiana, but also Asiana Wedding Magazine. So 2 consecutive magazines
24 years
at the
old.
same time.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was
So
huge.
young.
It was really huge. And that's when we met. We were doing the Miss Asiana pageant. And honestly, I was just blown away by your beauty. And I'm not just saying this.
Here we go.
But she was. Honestly, you were my winner.
Aw.
You know, you really, really were. And obviously there was a whole judging panel
yeah.
of different amazing experts and judges on there. But you were just so graceful. You were just beautiful. And I was always, during that time, always scouting for new, fresh faces and faces that we wanted to obviously put on the covers of the magazine and then have as campaign photo shoots. And for me, you spoke really well. You know, you just had you ticked all the boxes, and I fell in love with you. And that's when I said, right, she is my winner. But you did win anyway. You did win an award, didn't you, at the time?
Yeah, I did. I think it was
I can't
the
remember what it
Miss
was.
Popular Award.
Yes, because she had, even back then, more, like, you know, you had such a big following and everybody had voted for you, and it was just so nice. But you were a beautiful soul in and out, and I think me and you just really just had a fantastic bond, and we just clicked. And you know what? I know. And it's like we've done a full 360, and now we're here planning your biggest day.
I think we need to touch on how big Asiana was, because like we're glossing over like some of the younger audience that don't know about Asiana at all. Like Asiana was like huge.
It's like Indian, no, not Indian, even like Desi Hello magazine.
Yeah, like South Asian.
Way.
It was like anyone, if you were South Asian, especially girls, like my cousins I knew would keep every single, they'd buy them and keep them all. There's stacks and stacks of them.
It was a thing, and it was an expensive magazine.
Before social media, if you want, like now we follow all the big brands, but everything was under that one like magazine. Wasn't it?
It was like a 500-page Asian Bible of inspiration. From the features to the fashion shoots, and everyone, you know, when you pick up mainstream magazines, you know, when you've got all the mainstream brands on there, they actually curate their own images for their brands and their own marketing campaigns. We would create every single image that you saw in that magazine was created by ourselves. So we did all the photo shoots in-house.
I didn't know that.
Everything. So literally working on a magazine 4 months at a time. And I was going on from, because I started as a stylist, worked my way up. So I was doing all the editorial shoots with all the celebrities, all the features, but then also managing the whole fashion department. Because I started off as a stylist, I really wanted to be hands-on as an editor. So it wouldn't be like a team would come and do it and then they would show me the campaign and then I would sign it all off. It would be like, I really wanted to be part of the direction, because I was also known as a creative director as well. I actually wanted to be part of all the photo shoots. So that was, I don't think everyone involves, you've done so many photo shoots, you know that it comes, the whole process from starting to coordinate it, coming up with the concept, the styling, the venues, the models, the hair and makeup team, the creative team, the photographer, the videographer. It's such a huge project, and we were there back to back every day, traveling up and down the UK at different wedding like locations, manor houses, castles. We even did international trips to produce this magazine, just to give inspiration to all of our audiences. So when a new collection would be out, straight away we'd like photograph it for the magazine and have inspirational features. And when I joined, I wanted it to be a magazine that every bride, groom, family members, you know, the young generation would pick up. So it would appeal to an older woman getting married as well as a younger, you know, bride getting married, to just inspire them with, these are our top wedding suppliers. This is all the decor ideas, the theming, catering. This is how it should be styled, from hair, makeup to fashion and jewelry. And it's like, I want it to be relatable to my audience. I want the brides, you know, to be able to share this also with their groom. So I introduce a groom section, because the groom is just as important as the bride now. So are the family, you know, the sisters, the mothers, you know, what are they going to wear? So really wanted to open it up, think, you know what would I want to read in a magazine if I was to buy it? What do I want? And I wanted to make it really relevant at the time. So I introduced the shopping pages, and how you then, when you wear your bridal outfits, how you can then restyle them to wear them to different weddings, to different events. These are the things that you need. So that was really, really important for me.
I'm bought in. I want to bring that magazine back.
She's like, I'm sold. Where do I sign up?
I am so mesmerised, because I remember like when I was younger going to shops and seeing that magazine, and you try and have like a few little sneaks of it before the shopkeeper would be like, you have to pay for that before you go through it. And like all of my cousins, when they were getting married, it was always a thing. They'd have like stacks and stacks of like the latest Asiana magazines, and we sit there for hours and like look at all the outfits, and it's just so mad to think.
Me,
like,
even being a guy, I know.
Oh, and you,
I know Asiana. Like as a kid, I knew about it, and like I'd see my mum would have one. She's not even getting married anytime soon, but she just had one. You know, from time to time she'd buy one. So like,
it was really, I think it appealed to a really wide demographic.
It was huge,
like you said, all age groups.
And for you to be a part of it, like that shows, like, you know, to be pretty much at the head of it, at the head of creative direction anyway. That shows that your vision, and like you said, like these photo shoots and these editorial kind of shoots. You don't just come there with a camera and a light. It's like there's a whole thing.
So much goes into it. So much.
You see the glossy photos that look amazing, but there's like so much madness going on behind it.
But it was just so touching when, you know, like literally like brides would go to the shops or the makeup artists and say, we want that look, that cut out. They would tear sheets out and take it to the makeup artist and say, we want you to create this look on us, or we want to wear this outfit, we want you to change it in this color. That's how significant and powerful it was at the time. Before, obviously, we had the social media revolution, which then changed everything. But it was a dream job, an amazing journey, and I was just so touched that I was able at such a young age to be able to be such an inspiration to so many women, men out there. It was really just honestly the perfect job that I could have asked for.
100%.
So you was there for 10 years and then obviously you decided to leave. That's quite a massive decision because you are part of something that's so huge. It's such a reputable company, job, everything. How did you take the plunge and say, right, like it's time for me to go now?
You know, it was not an easy decision. It took a lot of strength because I literally built up a family at Asiana. They were my family. We were spending like days, if not like months together, you know, working long hours sometimes, you know, like 12-hour days, 13-hour days, and traveling the world with them. Because you straight away come back from a photo shoot, upload the pictures, be in the office, select them, and then they'd go to the editing team and then be back again the next day after another shoot and then working on the layout and the design and then working with the editorial team to, you know, like make sure that the features and all the wording and everything, the titles and choosing the cover of the magazine. That was the one that always used to be the fun one, having a debate with the whole team on who gets to decide the cover and whether we agree with it or not. But
how long would that take?
oh my God, we would have so many debates with my publisher because he would want something else.
That's the equivalent of a YouTube thumbnail.
Literally.
Yeah,
that's how
literally.
so we understand that's really hard.
Yeah.
It's like what, and then you got so much choice.
Yeah.
But what I loved about it, we would always pick the best shoot or the best feature, something that was really out the box at that time because, you know, we are trend setting. We're there to kind of elevate and, you know, show something different to inspire somebody. And sometimes you had to take risks. And sometimes the risks wouldn't be seen very well or received very well, shall I say. But you just had to take them because we've got to be one step ahead of the game. We've got to basically educate our audience to say, this is what's going to be the new trend. This is what you guys should be looking out for. So going away from the reds, bringing in the bolds, bringing in the neons, the pastel shades. And you see that even happening now. But it was really, really hard when I first made that decision because it was all I'd known. I'd literally come out of uni, graduated, landed my first dream job, stayed there for 10 years. And it's like, how do I now leave this? It was a very emotional journey for me. But you know, when you just know it's time to go, when you thought I've done everything, I've given everything I can to this magazine, to my audiences. And with social media revolution that was happening, Instagram was really up and coming more and more. Everybody then started to use social media as their platform to showcase their brands, their products, talk about their services, vlogging, blogging. It became a trend. Facebook had come anyway, but Instagram completely took over because it was all visual. It was all about the visual kind of campaigns and photo shoots. And I just thought, right, I really ideally would have loved to have gone more digital down the direction of Asiana and taken it more that way. But I think it was that time that I thought, right, I'm not challenged anymore. I think I need to do something a little bit different and do something a little bit more out the box. And I've done 10 years. It's been an amazing 10 years. It's now time to build my own brand and launch. And it was probably the most daunting thing that I did. But now 7 years on, I'm so delighted. I'm just so happy that I took that plunge. Yeah. I really am, because it was really scary at first.
And did you know at the time what you wanted to do? Or did you just know it was time to leave and then you're kind of just going to figure out the next steps?
That's an interesting question because as soon as I announced that I was leaving, I got approached by a lot of brands, a lot of companies. And for a few months, I really did just take that time out on a bit of a career break just to work out what is it that I want to do. Do I want to go into mainstream and, you know, go and work for another magazine, which was a path I thought I could take? Or do I want to develop something under my own brand and become a creative consultancy where I'm now still conducting creative campaign photo shoots, still doing marketing, PR and events, but for individual brands? And I think when I did really sit down and think, right, you know, what do I love doing, and weighing it up, what are the positives, what are the negatives, what do I love doing? And then everyone's like, you know, you should be a wedding planner, because I did Rishi Rich's first wedding. It was received really, really well.
So you planned this wedding when you'd left Asiana, right?
Yeah, that's right.
This is when you decided, okay, I want to go.
And I thought, you know, I experienced it. And I thought I could do it because they were just like, you know, everyone in the industry. You've been executing a whole magazine and curating a whole magazine. Now you're just bringing it to life. So it's everything you would do in a magazine, but you're bringing it to life. It's the same thing. Everyone knows you. You've got the vision. Here you go. And I thought, right, okay, let's see how this is going to go. And we did do it. I did it with one of my friends at the time, Sid Chickday, who owned Chameleon Events. We came together and we produced this phenomenal wedding at the time, which had all the celebrities there. You know, I remember we had like Shivas Regal basically host a whole bar of whiskey at the wedding. Yeah, we styled them head to toe, made sure they had phenomenal entertainment, great food, a beautiful venue in St. Paul's at the time. And obviously when you're doing a celebrity wedding as well, there's so much pressure because you know it's going to be seen by all.
Yeah.
But it was just such a lovely experience. When you're going on this journey, you've got to enjoy the planning journey because we're all friends as well. It was just so fun. And that's when I realized, actually, yeah, this is somewhere, this is a path I definitely want to go down.
Wow.
And I really enjoyed the whole experience.
Yeah.
And that's how Anisha Vasani, the wedding planner, was formed.
Wow.
This is how I know that you're messed up in the head, man. You enjoy
Wedding
planning
panic.
a wedding.
Yes, I know.
No one enjoys planning a wedding.
I was just about
That's how I
to
know
say.
something's not right with
You know
Anisha.
what?
In a good way though. In a good way though. Like,
Don't worry, we're going to bring the fun into it. I know. For some people, it's a
to plan a
nightmare.
wedding, oh my
You know what? It's so funny you said that because literally I was just about to say I could not think of anything worse than being a wedding planner. It's just so much responsibility.
It
And like
is.
you're relying on other vendors. That's the thing. And
Yeah.
you take the brunt of it if anything
Yeah.
goes
Goes
wrong.
wrong, you do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Lot of
pressure on you.
relationships that
But
you
you know, I've
trust.
worked with a lot of suppliers that have been doing this for a very long time. Some people that have been in the industry for 40 years. And you will always work with your trusted suppliers that you know you've got a great relationship. And as a wedding planner, you've just always got to have a solution. There's always got to be plan A, plan B, plan C. And you've got to have that. And that's exactly what we're going to have for your wedding. So like sometimes, especially in this country, when the weather is bad, you know you have a plan A, plan B. If it rains, what is your option inside? What is your option outside? What's going to happen if this, you know, you have backup plans and contingency plans for everything. And that's on me. And that's my stress. And that's why you need a wedding planner, because we take care of things on a whole 360 from every aspect that you probably couldn't even think of, from all the details to all the logistics, and making sure that everything flows without any stress, seamlessly, and it just looks effortless without you guys having to worry about anything. Because the worst thing is also when you're relying on family members to take on such a huge responsibility when they're out of their element, it's out of their remit, to say, look, you guys got to step in and I need this and this done. And it can be quite overwhelming for them. And it's pressure because they want to enjoy your wedding day.
That's the
Yeah.
thing.
They want to
isn't it?
enjoy, and I want you guys to enjoy your wedding day.
And
So
also the relationships that a client has with a supplier is different to when you introduce a wedding planner, because when a supplier has a relationship with a client, they're going to be like, how do I explain it? Like, there's not as much respect for the relationship as when a wedding planner's there. So when a wedding planner's involved, they know they're held accountable. So
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I can't fuck up now. This wedding planner, she's in the industry.
They know.
We can't fuck up. We can't give any excuses because all of the excuses that we normally use won't work because she knows.
you're not
all the
going to get away
excuses.
with it with a wedding
And
planner.
the
Also,
wedding planner
wait there.
has heard.
And also, like, there's things that I've noticed when we've worked with you in the past. Like, you set up your expectations from the start. You're like, this is what I expect from you. This is what I want from you. These are your deliverables. I want you to deliver these. These are like, you know. So you list it all out so they know they're not under any illusion of what they've got to do and what they've got to produce. And these things aren't the kind of conversation that we would have as a client going to like a vendor or a supplier. So them kind of conversations are very difficult. Whereas you can do it, and then they're held accountable, and then they've seen at the start what they have to do, and they've signed off on it. So
Absolutely.
that is a very vital point, because suppliers will take the piss out of us
Yeah.
clients as much as they can. We were in the industry, we know what happens,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah,
So
of course.
it's a very vital point.
Yeah.
we need
It's
to hit
definitely that professional service and that trust that you build with all your suppliers. And you know, you've got many weddings to work with. So if a supplier does let you down, you know you're never going to work with that supplier again, especially then when it's going to reflect badly
Yeah.
on you or your client. But it's about just making sure that you are being firm and, like you said, managing expectations.
Yeah.
You set those principles and everything in place with agreements, everything in writing, and saying this is what we expect for you. They have to deliver. Things can go wrong. We know you're both in the wedding industry
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah.
right? As a makeup artist and DJ, you know sometimes things will go wrong and it's out of your control. And it's like, okay, what do we do to find a solution to resolve this very quickly to make sure that this is not impacting the couple or the wedding itself. And it's just knowing when you've got a black book of contacts, just say if someone's stuck in the worst case scenario on the motorway with an accident that they just can't get off, who else can you call?
Yeah.
And that's where I think another vital point is that wedding planners have got a black book of contacts.
Yeah.
And I've got 17 years of a black book of contacts that we can just call up anybody in whatever region you are in and saying, right, I need you to come now and get this sorted for me. And I think that's definitely one of the plus points.
I think I really understood the value of a wedding planner when I started doing bridal makeup, because I think before, when you think of a wedding planner, you think, oh, like celebrity weddings or like massive wealthy families are going to have a wedding planner. But then when I started doing brides and they would tell me about their wedding planners, what they've done for them, I just thought like this is literally the way forward, because especially for people like me and you who are like busy working, like literally planning a wedding is a full-time job. Like it's actually a full-time job. And if you haven't got the time to do it, get someone else to do it for you.
We're in the wedding industry and we've got a wedding planner because that says it all. But like we're so busy planning everyone else's weddings. Like we got to like February and we're like, hold on a minute, we haven't got our own wedding planner. And then
We're giving everyone all the advice and we've done nothing ourselves.
And then we're like, hey, have you planned your wedding? We're like, yeah, it's all done, don't worry.
Do you know, it's really hard because when you're in the industry yourself, like you said, you're so busy, especially us as professionals, you don't have time because there's so much involved, as you guys now know, site visits, tastings, like constant like back and forth conversations with theming and your styling, and we haven't even started yet, but there's so much to be done because you're on the whole journey with that couple from start to finish. Your wedding planner is your most important, crucial person. Because some suppliers come in, they do their part. As a DJ, you come in, you'll have a consultation with them, you'll have a few conversations with them about their music and their decor and their production, and then you come on the day, do your thing, and you're done. Whereas a wedding planner is with them on the start of their journey of every aspect, from the catering to the theming to the decor to the whole styling process, and then managing the whole thing on the day. So it's vital that it's going to be peace of mind knowing that that stress is taken, especially when you're in busy like careers as yourself. You don't have the time. But bridal couples have to know that you've got to be involved because we want you guys to make the decisions and have your input, so it's personal to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't wait for Anisha Vasani to be screwing at your mum in the morning. Get ready, come on, we're running late.
Oh no.
I'm going to be cracking the whip on you,
Like
Dee. I really will
Monica
be.
from Friends, if not even watch Friends, when she's a wedding planner, she's like, come on.
Let's go.
That's going to be the wedding morning, isn't it?
They're going to see my call coming through. Dee's going to be like, I'm in trouble now. She wants me there half an hour before time.
Serena's really good with timing, actually.
Yeah.
Ready and stuff.
She's punctual.
Serena's mum, though, I love you, Serena's mum.
Yeah, oh, she's the worst. Anisha, you need to.
So I'm going to have to keep it up.
Mum,
I'm going to give her all the wrong times.
Yeah,
We'll just
that's
give
the
her a
best thing to
schedule
do.
with all the delayed times.
Yeah.
2 hours beforehand.
She'll be ready on time then, literally. So obviously, some people listening to this are probably thinking, oh, well, it's all good and well having a wedding planner, but my wedding's in 4 months now and I haven't got one. So being a wedding planner and having all this experience, have you got any advice or wise words of wisdom that you can share for couples who are getting married, who are planning a wedding? What can they make sure that they need to get done? What do people always overlook but you have seen is a massive part of the wedding planning process?
See, even if you are getting married 4 months, in time, the other service that we offer, if you don't even want a wedding planner to plan the full wedding planning service, we come on the day and we do the coordination. So it's a wedding planning coordination process or package. Because I think a lot of couples, obviously it's dependable on budgets as well, can't afford always to have a wedding planner the whole way through. But you can actually have wedding planners that will come on 1 month before, liaise with all your suppliers because you're so stressed. You guys will see as you come closer to it, the last few months are the most crucial because everything is coming together. And then it's all those little details, the finer details. Have you thought about, your guest book signing? Is it going to be a photo booth experience? Because now I think, especially after the pandemic, we've seen that numbers are going down in terms of capacity, but couples are making it more about the whole enjoyable experience. Yeah. I think you guys will be able to relate to this. Mm-hmm. You want all your family and friends, it's the biggest day of your life, to come together and have fun. And it's all about the journey. It's all about the experience. What can you do to provide a very unique or different experience from all the other weddings. Because how many weddings do we go to in a year? So many that you just want it to stand out so differently from everybody else. So my biggest advice would be to everybody out there that if you can't afford a wedding planner to be there on the start of your wedding journey, then please do look into getting a wedding coordinator for the day, because you do not want your friends and family to have that burden, to have that pressure, because so many things get overlooked. And we've had scenarios where they've, allocated a role and a responsibility to a brother, and, he's at the bar, drinking up, and he's nowhere to be found,
Could be more than at the bar.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You've had the
all the place.
responsibility of the best man getting the groom ready and out on time, and, they're delayed and they're just so casual about it. So please, I think let your family and friends enjoy it. Let the couple enjoy that experience. But the one thing I would say is make sure that you get somebody to coordinate. And, a lot of venues and decor brands and catering companies provide a coordinator for their weddings. But I would still say they don't coordinate the weddings to that level of detail that a wedding planner would.
Yeah.
She will make sure, we make sure that the name cards are placed, and everything with the gifts and everything is placed where it needs to be, the finer details, everything is placed. You're managing also a lot of the time the logistics of getting the family members, and you know how hard it is, from A to B.
To one place, to another place.
Seamlessly,
Yeah.
so that everyone knows where everything is going. Otherwise, other members are going to have to. So it's all those little details that you really need to think about, and just creating that experience. Think about things that are very unique and personal, that mean something to you and connects it with your guests. So I would just, bear those things in mind.
It's like at the Godwara when everyone's trying to do the sugar, isn't it? Like everyone's just pushing on top of each other.
Oh yeah.
So at that point, a wedding planner
It's
I'd
crucial.
say is a asset at that point. Just to make everyone line up and just be in an orderly fashion, and just
Gosh.
because it doesn't
dreams are
make
made
it any
of.
better, does it?
No.
Like, it doesn't make the experience any more fun.
No.
But like squeezing in and getting in the last minute, and you got
It's
some
so
auntie like this.
hectic. Yeah.
I can see Anisha like whipping them.
It's just that, that chaos is just to bring that calmness into it in a nice, organized
But I think
manner.
also, Anisha, you've said something really key there, right? And that is that it takes the stress away from
The
family
family.
and friends. Because
Yeah.
I have done so many clients, right? And all the immediate family will ever say to me is, this wedding, I've not enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Always.
Like, I
The
cannot
immediate
enjoy
family,
it.
yeah.
Everyone else is having the best time ever, but the sister, the brother, the
They
mum,
don't.
they cannot enjoy the wedding.
Yeah, it's true.
Because there's so much pressure on them. The little things that they're worrying about, the gifting, or they're worrying about, the little elements of what's going to happen next. And Anisha, we need to go and get changed now. We need to be down in 2 hours, and this has been delayed. And it's like, don't worry, we're taking care of it. You go and get changed nicely, and go. Because they've waited that whole moment to see you get married, and they're not able to enjoy it because they're worrying about everything and everyone else. And half the time it's just managing the family and managing how everyone's going to get there, and sometimes even the politics. Sometimes a wedding planner is there literally to be the mediator even between the two families, and especially on multicultural weddings, when they don't understand the cultural elements, we get invited to a lot of those weddings and say, look, can you explain to them what's going to be happening next, the steps of the cultural side of things, because they find it daunting. Imagine they've had simple 50 people weddings, and now they're turning up to a wedding with 500 people, 600 people. It can be really overwhelming. So you've just got to make sure that everyone is enjoying the wedding just as much as the bride and groom.
There's so many, like you said, there's so many traditions and cultural things that we do in our weddings, whether it's Sikh and Hindu like yourself. We all have different cadences, don't we? So imagine having like a civil wedding, like a white person does. And imagine coming to one of our weddings where it's like our weddings start 9 days before, and then there's different.
There's a whole week of
traditions.
celebrations.
Yeah.
There's this tradition, there's that tradition, there's the haldi, then there's the jagos for Punjabis and stuff, and then there's pre-weds, and then there's sangeets, mayas, mendis, all these different things, and they're all different events. And then you think, oh yeah, it's just an event, but then that event has loads of different things that you need to buy and have at your house or your venue. And those things you forget, so then you're running around last minute.
Oh yeah.
So then you haven't got that there at the same time. Or
And
a
do you not
caterer.
think, I always feel like whenever I've seen families be so organised, I honestly think no matter how organised you are for a
You can't,
wedding,
man.
you can never be on top of everything.
You
Like you
can't.
have to accept that some things you
Yeah.
will not have organised or
Because
planned.
we love to have the bridal couple's input all the way up, but we always say 2 weeks leading up to the wedding, we want you to switch off now.
Yeah.
Because we've done everything, all the supplies in place, the schedules are done, right? Now it's all about refining details. But it's also the other tip that I want to give is budgets. A couple sometimes doesn't even know where to start with a budget of a wedding. It's like, what should an average budget even be? So it's ensuring that we're using like wedding platforms now, and there's so many out there to base all your wedding kind of budgets for the caterers, being on top of it, that the couple have full access to, that you can see, that you're implementing, and we're just looking at it. So you know at the end, right, if Dee wants, have a supercar at the wedding, you know that you've got now, a couple of £1,000 to have that supercar at the wedding, or if you've got something that you want to fulfill with your bridal shower or things like that, it really helps to even do that whole cost analysis that a lot of people, I think, overlook sometimes because they just don't know where to start.
They don't know the cost, do they?
No,
So
they don't.
Poking a hole in the dark, and they're just asking someone, what does this cost? But they don't know what to base it off of.
No, they don't.
So they just could go with that. And
Exactly. So even when you are going to find your suppliers, always have a look and get lots of options. I would say don't confuse yourself and get too many quotes, but have your very premium, kind of supplier get their quote, then somebody in between, and then someone low end as well. So that way you can then see on the spectrum who is actually meeting your requirements in terms of your vision, the creativity, and who you've got a rapport with. You've got to have a rapport with and a kind of a relationship with all your suppliers. You know this.
Yeah.
When you're doing makeup for a bride, you've got to build that relationship with them because you're the most important person there on that day. If they don't feel like they look like themselves, they're not going to feel good the whole day. So don't compromise on a few things. Your hair and makeup artist, it's absolutely crucial with Serena, and Serena's glammed me up saying she knows. And when you feel good, like I feel really lovely right now, it just actually has completely stance on the way you conduct yourself, the confidence that it gives you. Don't overlook your styling, because you're going to look at these pictures for the rest of your life. So, your outfits, your jewelry, the whole styling. And with myself, because I come from a styling background, I know all of the fashion, jewelry, hair, makeup artists. So visually, not even just with yourself, Serena, even Dee, like I want him to look, and I know he's going to look amazing anyway as a groom, but I want him to look so beautiful. And in terms of complimenting, you've got to compliment each other.
Grooms are
and
making
his
a big-
styling is just as important as it is for
Grooms
you.
are making a big thing now.
A huge impact
grooms
now.
are becoming big now. Like before,
They're really
before,
taking
groom was like-
care.
there was like the bridal outfits, and then like
Or the
grooms-
focus on the bride.
The groom was like kind of an afterthought, and then but that wasn't like, that's because there's no demand. Like the grooms will just want to go whatever off the shelf, off the peg, and put it on.
Yeah.
Whereas now I feel like grooms are really
Taking
invested
care.
in their image, in their look. They want to look good on the day.
Absolutely.
So there's a whole like clothing, branding, and what would you call it? Couture. What is it called? All this shit?
Yeah, couture,
Yeah,
outfits.
It's all couture.
The way you're groomed,
bespoke stuff, all
styled.
this,
Yeah.
like high designer brand stuff for grooms now.
And
I'm seeing that a lot now.
And it's not just that, it's
Yeah.
everything. It's like
bug,
the facials,
yeah.
the beard,
Yeah, the facials, beards.
everything.
Taking
Yeah.
care of everything and your, your well-being and your skin and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you're going to radiate and glow just as
100%.
much,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's
Right.
So there's so much prep for you to do just as much.
I know.
So
I've
grooms
been
take
saunering
note.
every day.
Yeah.
I'm starting to really-
Skincare, laser.
I've been saunering every day.
facials.
Laser, I'm getting lasered in. All
To
this.
making
I wouldn't
sure.
have known any of this if it wasn't for Anisha. So yeah, man.
Got to think about everything just as the way we do, right? When we
Yeah.
do our skin prep, our facials, our nails,
100%.
our threading, it's just as important for the grooms because they're not an accessory anymore.
Yeah.
They are. It's the limelight is on both of you, so
Oh,
you've both
he's
got to
so
look
right.
good.
It isn't.
He's going to get all the
I would say
attention
it's
from me
still
as well.
90% the bride, but like it used to be 99%, so we've bought an extra 9% in the
The
last.
groom's pulled back a 9% for himself.
Yeah, so we're at 10% now.
What would you say, Anisha, is like from when you've gone to weddings? Probably not the ones you've done yourself, because obviously they don't go badly. But what have you seen from your experience when you've gone to weddings is something that a lot of people like always overlook, like something you just constantly see and you think, why do people not think about this thing?
I think with a lot of food, they think, how much do you feed your clients and how much your clients, your guests? How much do you feed your guests? Like, I've gone to weddings before and people have traveled from so far that there's no breakfast.
Yeah.
And they have to wait then for the ceremony to end, and then they get lunch, and you've got so many guests and looking at you saying, when's that food going to be served? And it
Yeah.
puts a lot of pressure on you. But you can't do anything because the clients didn't want to serve the breakfast because they've got, obviously, it's like breakfast. You know, with Asian weddings, how much we feed all of our guests.
Yeah.
It's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it's like, and then, you know, when other people attend, it's like, do you really feed them this much? We're like, yeah, because they've traveled from far, they're hungry. Our weddings start really early, especially with Punjabi weddings. You know how early you guys have to
So
get ready
early.
No one
in
can have
order to
breakfast
start.
before they get there. You can't, like,
No.
no one's going to eat.
No.
Just get ready and
They
go.
just get ready. So that's something that I think sometimes couples overlook.
I've seen this so much where bride and grooms have made their guests wait for them to enter the venue, which could be like an hour, 2 hours, sometimes when they've been delayed. 2 hours is a long time to wait when you've not eaten, before they have the first course, which I think is a terrible thing to do. I think that you should always serve at least one course before you enter the venue, just so everyone's at ease, everyone's relaxed, everyone's happy. And then when you enter, they're not just waiting for you to just get the entrance and the cake cut out of the way so they can eat. They want to just get it. They're happy to just see you enter, and they're happy to just party with you and do whatever you need to do for that part. Because sometimes also, as when you enter the venue and it's so hype, there's everyone's clapping along, making noise, and then you do all of that, and then you just go sit down at the table. You've lost that hype again.
That hype again, yeah.
So then you get back up to try party afterwards. Everyone's a bit like not as
Hyped they were
energetic.
initially.
As they were when they
energetic.
initially
And
came in.
Whereas if that's one foul sweep where you walk in, you do a big entrance, the hype is there. You do the cake cut again, everyone's just screaming and cheering, and then you go straight into your first dance. Everyone's stood around, looking at you guys, giving you that special moment, and then the first song comes, the party song, the
And
party
everyone
opens, the
starts
dance floor
going.
opens, everyone just comes, and like the dance floor is absolutely rammed. And I've just found that in every instance when it's been that way, it's always been a 10 out of 10 party. When it's the other way and you make everyone sit back down, firstly, everyone's always really hungry, and secondly, you took the hype away from the party. What's your
What's your
on that?
thoughts?
That's why we feed everybody canapes.
Yeah.
Because everyone, again, has travelled from so far
I
after
even
work,
feel like
canapes is sometimes not
They
enough.
don't satiate.
They're not.
Not satiate. Satiate the word.
Yeah, satiate's the word. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting as well because I feel like I only started learning of this because of D, because he's seen that part of reception and he understands from that perspective. But I do understand when couples say, you know, they want to be able to enjoy the food with the guests. But I do think, like we've seen before, when things run over, sometimes you just have to be like not selfish, I guess, and just sacrifice that time just for your guests to enjoy themselves. And me and Dee have said it so many times as well. Like, and I will always stick by this. The wedding isn't about the couple; it's about the guests.
Definitely.
The ceremony, 100% is about the couple. That's
Yeah.
your
Yes.
marriage vows. That's the rest of your life. But you've thrown this party for
For
your
your
guests.
For
guests,
your
to
guests.
enjoy it with your
Yeah,
guests.
to enjoy with the
Absolutely.
guests. And
Your
if you're
party is nothing. Your wedding is nothing without
If
your
you
guests.
don't have the right family and friends there, they make what that wedding reception is going to be.
Exactly.
So it is. And everyone that says, no, it's all about us. Yes, it is about you, but it's about you enjoying that experience with your guests. You've got to make it memorable and an epic experience for them. So you've just got to, like, if I know that a bridal couple are going to be late, just say they've gone to get their pre-wedding shots done, or the hair and makeup artist is delayed, or something has delayed them in getting ready, we would make that call at that time with the bride and groom's consent, saying we're going to open up the rooms and we're going to let them sit down to have their starters, because you don't want then, what are the few things that any guest takes away from the wedding? The experience in terms of the entertainment, the food, and, you know, enjoyable, you know, how it was as a whole experience, right? So you've got to make sure, you know, how every Asian family member is going to talk about the food wasn't right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what gets criticized the most. So do
Yeah.
not overlook the food for sure.
And it's crazy because we have regional differences, even though we're both Indian. But a London wedding to a Birmingham wedding is a completely different thing. So, like,
Now I've learned this.
Yeah, Londoners are so at ease with like doing canapes and drinks reception and mingling they can mingle for an hour and a half if you want to in the lobby, and whereas in Birmingham, half an hour is hard to hold the room. Like, people are like, open the main doors. Like, after half an hour, 45 minutes, you're a cameraman at weddings, you know. And Birmingham, they're like, the doors are literally like swinging like this.
They
You can
want
see-
to go in.
like this.
Yes.
Like, as a DJ, I can see the doors like, any moment it's going to burst, and then you get all these aunties just burst into the room. But in
So they're going to gate crash
but
your
in
wedding
London,
reception,
not in
literally.
London, you can just carry on going forever.
Yes.
Like, and you can just keep delaying that if you want to.
Absolutely.
And that's not a problem. It's just, these little cultural differences that you need to understand. Like
Yeah.
people like.
Like the champagne and canapé reception is a whole experience in itself.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we always in London, for our London weddings, ensure that there's like entertainment, there's a harpist,
Yeah.
there's a saxophonist. So you're creating that experience for them. They've got a photo booth experience. There's an illustration thing going on. There's a signing, you know, like area for the couple. So you've got all those intimate, interactive things going on there.
Yeah.
So you keep them engaged.
Yeah,
so
100%.
I think we need to introduce that to Birmingham and keep them engaged. And we're going to do it at your wedding
maybe.
first.
I think we're just a little bit behind in terms of not me and Serena exactly, but I mean like
Educating
some of the
them.
elder generation here
Yeah.
who are a little bit like they're like, just give us the fucking seats. We want to sit down. Like that's what they care about.
But then
like,
create a lounging
Yeah.
area. That's what we do in certain foyers,
Yeah.
that you're catering for the elderly
That's it,
generation
yeah.
and the younger kids as well. Sometimes we have like creches for the kids to
Which I
keep
think
them.
is
That's
I
a
think
good
it's
idea.
great.
Creches
I
for
think
kids.
You
that's
know.
the best. I think it's such a shame for guests, you know, when they've got little children,
They
like your
can't
cousins
enjoy
and
it.
stuff, and they just feel like they want to go up and dance and stuff, but then because of their children, they can't. And obviously, that's what happens when you
Yeah.
have kids anyway.
Yeah.
But if you can do something where the kids can go have a whale of a time,
Yeah.
they're not sat
And
at
you
a
can have a
table
whale
of a time.
moaning, and then the parents can have a whale of a time as well.
And
I
the
love
professional
idea of a
creches
creche.
with, you know, professional people that are going to look after them.
Yeah.
And they have a whole entertainment section. And I'd advise that because you don't want to upset family members to say you can't come because, you know, of the kids. Because some people do that. Some people say they have a
What's
no
your thoughts about
kid
that?
policy at
Okay,
weddings.
What's your
Really?
thoughts
Yes.
about no kids policy?
Right, tell me about that
This
one.
is very touchy. Okay, nothing frustrates me more than when there's a ceremony on and a kid is crying.
Oh, okay.
Because that comes through on all the videos and it
Yeah.
ruins everything. And look, and I'm not just even saying this because I don't have kids. I love kids. I dote on kids. But I just feel that little, you know, that little interface, you know, when you're even on a plane
Yeah.
and kids are crying and
Oh, it's the
screaming
worst,
and
yeah.
you're trying to sleep and it's not their fault. They're young, little, innocent souls. There's nothing you can do. But if we can provide an area, you can provide an area where they can just go off to, and you know, some parents are just so like really considerate. They'll straight away pick up that baby and go out, you know, and some people just don't. And it's just like, you're just having etiquette and being respectful to the couple that are getting married.
But what do you think when people say like no kids allowed?
I said, look, it's
the
their,
wedding.
it is their own preference.
Yeah.
And you know, they've got
No,
a
what's
reason behind.
your
Oh, mine.
personal-
Oh my God. I love kids. I would
Yeah.
want my godchildren
Yeah.
and, you know, all my nieces and nephews to be
Yeah.
there because they also are a big part and element of the wedding
Yeah.
experience. But I would ensure that I've got something like a creche
Yeah.
that they can go to. But yeah, I would have kids at my wedding.
Yeah,
like
Definitely.
you
Because
watch
I
the
don't want to
video
ever
of
go
that.
to a wedding and not be able to take my children
Yeah.
in the
And
future.
plus, in
That's
10 years' time,
lovely.
15 years' time, you're like, oh, look, to your niece and nephews,
Yeah.
look, you was at
At
my
the
wedding. Look,
wedding.
you did this up
Yeah,
there.
it's a
look.
memory.
Or you was dancing on the dance floor.
Yeah.
Or you did this.
I do. My own personal opinion is I do feel it's slightly mean to tell people they can't bring their kids
Yes.
because what it means is that someone's got to stay at home then to look after the
look after
kids,
the kids,
but then
yeah,
they
that's
can't
right.
come to the wedding.
No.
So unless you can facilitate like in-laws or something who are happy to do that, it's not fair on the
It's
parents
not.
either because then they're trying to find childcare.
Yeah.
And you want your guests to just feel at ease when they come to your function.
You're doing it for the guests, so by doing that, that's already.
Yeah,
being
because otherwise you're
selfish.
causing in so much inconvenience
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
them having to think
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
But there's some people that will say it to you just literally saying, "Oh, do you know what? We're going to have a night out and enjoy your wedding, and we've taken care of the children."
Yeah.
But
They do it
I
by
think they should.
themselves. Yeah.
That should be their choice.
Their
It's their
choice.
prerogative.
I agree.
If they want to do
When
that.
I was young, I used to just terrorise the whole flipping wedding. Like I used to
Yeah.
just run around. The number one person I used to terrorise was the DJ. So go, oh, what does this do? And
You would knew from then.
I remember like now when I look back at kids, I always give them the time because like I remember back then they used to
You
like,
were that child.
like
Yeah.
stop pressing that. Oh, like I'd be like asking, oh, what album have you got? Like show me the CDs. Like so I'd like back nowadays like. Kids aren't allowed to like go away from their parents. I feel like
At the weddings, I remember as a kid,
But
you'd run around, have
yeah.
crisps from other people's
I've been
tables.
running everywhere, man.
Yeah,
I don't explore
under
the
the
whole-
tables,
yeah.
under the
They'll
cloth
be
and
playing
everything.
around.
Yeah, like,
Kids-
it's like a little
ki-
tent, isn't
Yeah.
it?
I think kids make the wedding experience as well, right? In all cultures, no matter which cultural wedding you go to, they make the element of the wedding, which is really nice.
Okay, would you be annoyed, right, if we were having a first dance and one of your nephews ran onto the dance floor?
No, I wouldn't be annoyed.
See,
in the
I
slightest.
wouldn't be annoyed
No.
I wouldn't
either.
be
You get them to be part of it.
Yeah.
And dance
That's a
with
sign.
them.
That's something. You know, that's something. I believe in signs. I believe in the universe. I believe everything happens for a reason. And like, if that's happening, I believe that that's a perfect thing. Like the God has made that happen at that time. and that's the reason. And I just believe in it. Like,
Yeah.
that could
Oh,
be.
gee, that's so spiritual. I
Yeah.
love
It is
that.
so
I'm really
spiritual,
touched
isn't
that
it?
because I'm really spiritual too. So I believe in
Yeah.
things like that.
100%. You gotta like. If something goes wrong on the day, like again, I'm like, okay, if that surprise not turned up, that's not meant to have happened. Like, I just believe in loads of these things. I just roll with the punches. I'm not like,
I
oh,
think
fuck, it
that's
has
the
to be
most
here,
important thing.
you know?
Like, I think on your day, what's the point in stressing about something's not arrived, something's not the way it looked, oh, someone's added red flowers in here, but I only wanted pink flowers.
Yeah, all these little things.
It's
No
just-
one is going to know
Yeah.
apart from you
Yeah.
and your
Yeah.
wedding planner
Yeah.
and your supplier.
Yeah.
And I used to stress about these things. There's a running joke that even on my wedding day, when I am getting married, I'm going to have a headpiece in. And do you know what they've said? They go, we're just going to turn your radio off. And you're not going to be able to get up at that point because they're like, and again, I would hand it over to my team because I trust them and I know that they're going to know every element to how I work. But you just got to let it go.
Yeah.
You've just got to enjoy. I see a lot of
Yeah.
couples, go into so much detail, refining everything. And on the day, things are going to happen that are out of your control.
But isn't it the funniest thing? It always tends to be those kind of couples who put that extra
Extra
effort
effort.
in being extra anal.
Yeah.
The worst things happen to them for some reason.
And the ones that are so relaxed,
Yeah.
Yeah.
everything just goes with the
perfect.
flow.
Yeah,
It's
but-
true.
Because it's all about
The
energy.
energy.
Yeah.
It's
There you go.
all about the energy. We're going to have a great time
Energy,
planning
that-
this wedding.
Energy's a vibe. too,
Positive
we're vibes,
energy
so good.
attracts positive energy.
I believe
And
that.
you know
You
that
can't
when
fake
you
energy, is what they
manifest
say.
positivity, only your wedding will go smoothly. So we're all going to
100%.
meditate in the morning in our own way and everything will just go to plan.
Like one of our beautiful brides we done in Udaipur
Yeah.
just recently. She had everything down to a T.
Yeah.
She'd organised it amazingly. The wedding planners over there were brilliant. And then right at the last minute, like the day before, she gets like really ill.
She was in hospital.
Yeah, she was in hospital.
So sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know if it was COVID or some like really terrible like virus out there. And she's just lost her voice. Everything's gone crazy. And then at that point, she's just like, you know what, whatever happens, happens, and that's it. She just went with it.
And she was such a sport. Like
Yeah.
she still
Just
made
got
sure
to.
she enjoyed the most out of her wedding. She was so ill, but like she just pushed through,
Pushed
and
through.
you just
Just
get
go
through
with
it.
You
Yeah.
can be like, oh, what's happened to
Absolutely.
me? You can have two different responses. Like you can feel sorry for yourself and think, oh, this is so bad. Why is that happening to me? It's ruining my weddings. Like, or you can just be like, okay, that's happened. Cool. In a year's time or even 5 years' time, I won't even remember that I was ill.
That's it.
It'll just be amazing. Like I look back at the photos and
Absolutely. You've just got to just change your outlook on it and the way that you look at things. And like you said, she was such a sport thinking, I'm just going to I can either be here and just like now, just not come out my room and just let everything happen. Illness is hard because if you are genuinely ill, sometimes you can't.
Yeah, of course.
And you're just going to have to think, okay, what are we going to do? We're just going to have to postpone things, right? And we're
Yeah.
going to have to get a whole team together to make this work. But when it's a wedding and you've got people, suppliers flying in from all over the world, you've just got to just soldier it. You literally have just got to soldier it and just get better and have the medication, the diet, everything that you need to get better and enjoy
Diet,
that
yeah.
moment.
Necessity.
You do, yeah.
Yeah.
All the necessities are so important.
Yeah.
And the hangover kits, they are a good
Yeah.
call as well.
Yeah. You know what I love about you, Anisha? I know we've only touched on your like wedding planning and your time at Asiana Magazine, but there's also so much other stuff you do. So obviously you're a stylist as well, and you do like hosting, and you've done like interviews and all sorts of things. And I think that's super cool because I always get asked, how do you juggle everything? Like, how can it be possible for you to be presenting and then doing makeup artistry and then doing this and that on the radio? Like, you should just stick to one thing and that's it. So like, what's your thoughts on that? Because you juggle so many things. Like, do you find people say that to you as well?
All the time. All the time. They say that cliche saying that jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely the opposite.
there's actually
You
a
can-
further bit to that little thing, isn't it?
Is there?
It's like a jack of all trades, master of none. Google it. Someone Google it. Jack of all trades, master of none. Anyway, he's gonna Google it. You carry on with what you're saying.
Yeah.
We'll come back
And
to that because
I
that's not left,
think
wasn't
that actually, no, the more talent you have, the more it makes you stronger as a character because you can switch into any situation at any time and be able to step in and do. And because of when I was at Asiana, I used to creatively direct the catwalks. I used to style the shoots. I used to then present for Asiana TV. I've learned all these skill sets along the way. So why should I not implement them into my journey now, into my creative consultancy? It just shows how versatile you are as a person and an individual, so that sometimes even if I'm at a wedding, they know they don't need to book a Toastmaster. until obviously the reception when you've got the DJs taking over, they know that I've got enough of a powerful voice to be able to control any crowd. So all those little like skill sets now help me from a wedding to when I'm hosting. So even when I'm planning an event, like even if it's a branded event, I'll introduce the person that we're doing the event for and then be able to say a few words about them. So they actually can combine really, really nicely. And I just think it makes you just multi-talented and you can be a master of all. You really can.
This is the saying, I think. What was it, Tara?
A jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one.
There you
There you
go.
Go on, say it again. So you say that again.
Say it again.
Pass your phone, Taryn,
Wait,
then we can read it out.
Let me read
You
it
can
out.
get that on the mic. Wait for Taryn to get out of the shot. So we've got the quote here.
Where is it? Oh, there you go. The complete saying. Right, so the complete saying is, yo, if you made it this far, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all them things there, you get me?
And thank you as always for all the support.
A jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes is better than a master of one. So meaning basically, if you're just doing one thing and you're a master, that's cool. That's your thing. But like if there's a few people like us, for instance, we like to have our fingers in different pies. We like to enjoy, all of our we like to take out of all of our creative outlets.
Absolutely.
And just enjoy either whether you're a radio presenter and a makeup artist and a podcast presenter and all these other things, or whether you're a DJ, you're a business owner and other things that I do. Like all these things are like what make us fulfilled. So if that's what you want to do, just do it and pursue
Absolutely.
it. Don't let no one hold you back and put you in a box and say you can only be what you want to.
You can intercept a lot of them a lot of the times in what you do. So like with the creative consultancy, that's why I called it a consultancy, because I knew I had a lot of talents and a lot of skill sets. So yes, we can creatively direct your campaign shoots and work B2B. We can plan your wedding, work B2C with couples, but we can also literally do branded events from you, because the only different thing between a branded corporate creative event is that you're doing it for a creative audience and you're inviting celebrities and press, compared to a wedding that you do. It's just different. So that's why we call ourselves an event planner rather than a wedding planner, because there's no event that you can't do. Once you've got the foundation and the vision and the creativity for one type of event, you can go on to do any kind of event. When you're a presenter, you can then host your own podcast, speak on your social media with confidence. You can then speak at events as well. So it just means that you've got so much more diverse and extensive experience to basically be able to offer a service that I think 2 or 3 people could do. You get it within that one person.
100%.
And it makes you unique. Like we had a conversation with someone recently and we were talking about, so we offer DJ and makeup packages now. So for clients, they can book Dee's DJ, Mia's makeup. But then on top of that, we can actually host like a games night.
There you go.
So for like a Mendy night,
Right.
we can do like interactive games with the guests, and just make it like a bit of an edge on like a normal kind of Mendy function. And someone said, well, that's a bit weird. Like, why would someone have a makeup artist and all of a sudden she's hosting the games? But I said, well, that's the niche you bring.
I don't think anyone needs to be pigeonholed to what one set of skill set that you can do. I think if you can diversify yourself and be able to do so much more, like how are they going to be able to get now a female host like yourself that's already at their wedding to then be able to do and host these games nights? And you're offering something, again, like you said, niche and unique, which is different. And that's what we want to do with your wedding. When we are going to go on this journey, we want to do things that are going to be different. I think everyone says, it's so predictable when you're going to walk in, there's going to be, the big bang entrance, and then you're going to cut your cake, and then you're going to do the first dance. And even you're always thinking, what can we do that's going to be different from the conventional wedding? And that's what I think that we are now trying to change up a little bit. Of course, you've got to have those elements, but a lot of couples now even say to me, we don't even want to cut a cake. We want, my partner loves a cheese board, so we're just going to put a cheese board out. We don't want to have a cake. Loads of people are doing things differently. We want to have a brunch. We want to have sofa seating. We don't want the fine dining, structured, conventional reception, dining, ceremony, dinner now. We want to have it like Dubai when you go to a brunch and it's all lounge seating. I did a wedding for that. Some people getting married in their gardens and personalizing it like that and having a theme. Man. Everyone is doing very differently, but as long as it's personal to you, just remember when you're coming up with the whole vision of your wedding, it is personal to you. Together and making it a very unique, different experience from the conventional weddings
as well. It's
Absolutely.
very unique to you, and then the guests are like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's got to be relatable.
Yeah.
So when I did that wedding and it was like a whole lounge setting, you can imagine what the parents said, right? The elderly were like, "What is this? Where's the table? I want to have my proper food. I don't want to just have it in plates. You know, why is there so much of a gap between the lunch and the dinner?" You know, so when you do sometimes introduce something that they're not used to and take them out of their comfort zone, the elderly generation, like, they don't receive it very well, but the youngsters are like, "Oh my God,
This is
this party is
amazing.
amazing.
Best
We
thing
love
ever."
it. It's like we're partying in the day. You know, they love it. So you've just got to make sure you've
The
got a balance.
But then, you know, there's gonna be elderly people at your wedding, because like we're all gonna have, you know, on DM, BBM
Yeah.
and stuff like that at our weddings. So like, I think there should be more of a thing where we're like, the elderly people do tend to leave a bit earlier. So maybe we do the conventional thing for the elderly, and then when they've gone, then we have something cool for when the youngers are
For the younger
partying.
generation.
Because we're doing an
Yes.
evening reception, which is very unconventional for
Birmingham.
Midlands. Midlands
Yeah.
always do daytime receptions 1 till 6.
I'm excited about that. You're doing
Yeah.
it exactly how London do it.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting.
Dee was
But
so
what I
adamant
find
that he loves
in
that.
London is like, after about 9-10 o'clock, the main course has been served and everything. You're left with all, like the younger cool people that will appreciate all the cool things that we to do. So if we were to have, I don't know, some sort of like grilled food, or like, I don't know, some burger.
Yeah, like churros at 11 o'clock
Yes.
at night
Or
or
some-
something
yeah,
like
something
that.
This is
like
really
that, yeah.
popular now. We get a
Yeah.
lot of, like, you know, food vans that come, like camper vans.
vans,
They
yeah.
come out
They
and then
come
they give
out,
the
yeah.
pizzas and the
burgers
shawarma wraps and
and yeah, yeah,
everything,
the wraps, yeah.
catering for then the youngsters. One, it gets them nicely sober as well, obviously with obviously a lot of the drinking, but
Yeah.
it just makes sure that, you know, they're not going to McDonald's or ordering pizza
That's a good
to the
point.
venue.
Yeah.
Do you know the amount of times I see that where we're ending up and we're doing the pack down and everyone's ordering pizzas at McDonald's and
Yeah.
KFC to the wedding reception
really good point,
because they're so
actually.
hungry. So it's
Yeah.
all those little details that, you know, we now have like lovely solutions for, to make sure that you're catering from start to finish for the
Yeah.
whole guest experience.
And I think you've
So
also
important.
got to know where to spend the money, because I think sometimes, and this is my only personal thing, you do what you want to do, but sometimes I find people spend money on things that are so unnecessary, like personalized candles as favors on everyone's plate. Beautiful idea, right?
Really
Does
thoughtful.
anyone take the candle home? Does anyone have pockets in their lengas to take the candle home?
Yeah.
So it's all that money, effort that's got into it, but practically no one cares. Like
Yeah.
no one's lighting that candle when they go home. No one's eating those mints that they've got the name of the date you were married. No one's putting the lip balm on.
You're going into it. Yeah. I'm letting you do. Usually this is me doing this. And she's like, "Yo, stop touching me here." She's like, "Oh, you're gonna isolate us." This is you being
No,
crazy.
what I'm trying to say, I saw this trend recently, and it's a new trend on TikTok called de-influencing, and it's encouraging people not to spend money on things that they don't need to. So what I'm
Let's
trying
do
to
it.
say is, I'm trying to de-influence people. Like, if you're thinking of doing candles, honestly, just put a chocolate there. Everyone's
Yeah.
gonna love their little Ferrero
Oh,
Rocher,
sure, I
put it
eat
in your
it.
mouth,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
done. Like, keep
Yeah,
it simple.
keep it simple, man.
Yeah.
Simple is better sometimes, man.
Because the thought is there. You're always, couples, I think, like, put extra pressure on themselves, think, what can we give? Because they don't want to just give out a
Which I
chocolate.
understand,
And I
yeah.
don't know if it's just as a wedding planner, like, more, like, I think mindful. I do take my candle home and I do like it. But you're right. You know, sometimes it's just about creating that whole
there burning it.
experience. Yeah. It's because I love my candles, so I would take that
Yeah,
home.
but
you're
one at
right.
reception.
But you know, when we're sometimes at the receptions at the end and you're clearing up, a lot of the time it is all left there.
Yeah.
So a new thing that everyone's starting to do, which I think is something that is really clever. Now, you're going to get with your reception food, right? With your caterer, you're going to do starters, main and dessert. That's a conventional thing, right? Then there's a cake. 80% of those guests are not going to eat the cake.
know.
So what people are doing now is they're giving those as favors so that they can take that home. And then in the morning, you know, when everyone's waking up the next day or for their lunch, they will have that cake and appreciate it so much more, because you need a cake at your wedding. Some people don't want to have a cake, but some people do. At least it's not going to waste.
That's a good
Yes,
point.
They cut it up now and then they serve it and give it to everyone as they're leaving. So that would be, again, another tip. And you know what? That was so
You know
much
what that
more
reminds me
effective.
of? You know when you go to a kid's birthday party?
Yeah, and you used to get the party cake.
And you'd always go home with the cake.
Yeah.
I'd have to hide it from my siblings because they like will try and eat the cake.
If someone gave me cake on the way out of a wedding venue, that would be my new favourite couple.
Yeah, because you'll be eating that on the way home,
of course.
won't you?
Yeah. He wouldn't be waiting until the next morning. He'd be there.
I was like, next morning, was she on that?
Yeah, no,
I'll
be
be
eating
home,
it that day.
back like,
But you know, it's little things like that you can make. You know, wedding and sustainability is such a big thing at the moment.
Massive.
Like, try to prevent the waste. Like, you know, do things that people are going to be able to actually enjoy and, you know, be able to use, and don't think about it. But you know, the other two things that I think you guys are going to agree with me on: do not compromise on your wedding photographer and your videographer, because these are the memories you're going to have for life. Like your albums, you know, your pictures that you're going to show your kids and their kids, and for all generations. You know, those are the two other crucial things, other than obviously your outfits, your styling. Everything is important, but I think a lot of people compromise, and then when they get those photos,
Or don't get.
get those photos, you know, it's the most upsetting thing in the world, and you cannot recreate that day again. Well, I mean, you could if you pied me, but you can't recreate that day again. So don't. You've probably heard so many horror stories as well. And that breaks my heart.
It's too common, man. It's
It breaks my heart, you know.
And sustainability is a really good point. You know, this is something I was going to suggest to you. Someone was saying, as wedding favours, or are they called wedding favours, what you put on the plate? Yeah. So they'd actually done a donation to every person to a charity, and then they leave like a charity pin or something there.
Or there's a tree or something that they plant.
So gutted that, I'm like, ooh, open it up. And it's like, oh, a tree has been planted in your name.
No,
I'm like, get out of here. Where's my chocolate?
No, that's a lovely idea.
Me and Serena have already spoken about
the
a D
thought's
and
nice.
Serena.
Yeah.
But I want a chocolate.
Well, you can have a chocolate as well then.
We'll have a tea. We'll have a tree donated to you both, the Serena and D tree.
Yeah, that's so cute. Yeah, I love that idea.
Give me my
Thanks,
Ferrero
Anisha.
Rocher.
Or the candle that you're never going to use.
Oh God. Well, we probably caused a right
I know.
ruckus with that one.
She's gonna get flipping bombarded for that. I like it.
And then I think the last thing I wanted to talk to you about, Anisha, is so obviously you're someone who's done so many things, right? You've done 10 years at Asiana Magazine, and now you're doing your wedding planning and your styling and your what was the word called? Your
Creative consulting.
consultancy. Yeah, creative consulting. So you are so occupied with work, but let's talk about relationships and your love life. Because I
knew that was coming.
Because I know we've had our own chats in the cars and we've gone to different shoots and whatnot. But how have you found juggling being a very, very busy, hardworking woman, and then love life and dating and all of that side?
It can be hard because, you know, you're working literally around the clock all the time. And sometimes you just don't have time for your own personal life. You're just about getting up and juggling so many different roles and responsibilities and so many events. But, you know, 2 years ago, I made a conscious decision that I actually now, you know, want that companionship, you know, look at a couple like you, feel inspired and think, right, I do want to settle down myself. I do want to have children. I do want to have family. And it's not like I'm not trying. I promise you, you know, I have been in long-term relationships and they just haven't sadly worked out. But I'm really happy and content because I'm like you, Dee. I'm very spiritual, and I feel whenever it's meant to happen, my path, my destiny, my fate is all written for me.
Yeah, 100%.
And whenever that right, amazing companion and my, you know, lifetime partner is going to come along, it's just going to happen. And I know it's going to happen when I probably least expect it, but it will happen when the time is right. And we all want that. We all want that happy, especially when you plan so many weddings yourself.
About to say, yeah.
It can be really emotional because you just think, when is that day going to come for myself? And your family are constantly asking you, and everyone's in the industry, like, you're always in the industry and you're always meeting so many people. Why have you not settled down? And I just said, it just hasn't happened yet. It just hasn't, you know, it's just not meant to be. And when it will be, of course I want that. I want to have kids myself. I want to, you know, get married and settle down. And I think now it will happen when it's meant to happen. I am focusing on it much more, which I promised my mum and dad that I would do. They're like, you need to, you know, like focus on it like it's a wedding project yourself and to find your own husband. I know, otherwise they go, you're not going to focus.
Like, how do we sell this like, the whole presentation?
pitch it?
So, the same way you do a wedding, you're going to do this for yourself.
Absolutely. But they've, you know, they used to put pressure on me. Yeah. And now I think they've just realised that we just want you to be happy. And we want you to be in something that, you know, is there for the long term for you just to be content and happy. And right now I'm really content and happy just doing me.
Good.
And as and when it happens, then yeah, you guys are going to plan my wedding.
Yeah. Oh
Hit
my
us up.
gosh.
If
I
you
couldn't
think
think
it-
of anything.
you can do
but
my
I'm too
wedding,
scared.
my
if
makeup.
you think you're a good suitor,
For Miss Anisha Vasani.
He's still playing
and you've
Cupid
got
now. I can't believe it.
7, 8, or 10 digits in your bank account.
Hey, it's not
three-
about the money. It's all
3
about the
plus
heart.
commas, and then we'll talk. Well, first, hit us up.
I love it. Now we're going to get all these potential prospects.
That's amazing.
The rich
That's
stars
a
for
great
me. I love
thing.
it. Yeah, I'm on
like
the market. A
that?
lot of people think that I'm already married anyway because I'm quite private with my personal life.
Yeah.
But for me, it's got to be. I think my life partner has got to be someone that is very independent, ambitious themselves, got their own,
Thing
career
for
going
them,
on. Because in order to, be able to, I think, adapt to my lifestyle as well, they've got to have, I think, their own ambition and drive. I'm very attracted to ambition and drive. So yeah, but they've got to have a good soul. They've got to. For me, the inner beauty is their persona. Can they make me laugh? Can I go home and talk to them at night? Can I lean on them with my problems? I think the full package is really, really important.
Yeah, 100%. That is very
As
true.
you know. And yeah, it'll happen
Well,
when it's
maybe
meant to be.
your happily ever after will be here soon. So Anisha, you can do this actually. Go on. Introduce. Oh, take my pad though, because it's on here.
So it moves us swiftly on to our game. Have you ever watched one of our podcasts?
I have.
Have you ever got
I
to the
love
game?
your games. Oh my God.
So it's called rated or not rated, meaning that we give you either it could be a word, could be a speech, not a speech, could be a phrase, or could be, I don't know, a thing or a place.
Scenario.
Yeah, and you've got to tell us whether you think that is rated, good, you like that, you enjoy it, or you're not rated. Not
Okay.
good.
Yeah, you
They're
ready?
putting me on the spot for this, by the way, right? I don't
we
know
always-
any of this.
And we also say to our guests, you're not allowed to be on the fence. You have to give us a straight
Yes.
rated or not rated, okay? No
Yeah.
wishy-washy.
I hope this
answers.
causes
Oh,
no
no
politics for me
political
now.
correctness.
Exactly.
None of that shit. So I'll start with the first one. High paid salary, but completely miserable. Not happy at all.
I can't be miserable.
No,
No. I've
Not
got to be
really.
happy in doing what I'm doing. I
Yeah.
do everything I do for the passion.
that's cool, man.
So yeah,
I'm a big believer in that as well.
100%.
Next one, wedding speeches.
Oh
You're Gujarati,
God.
man. You guys love a speech, I gotta say.
Do you know what? There's
Gujaratis love a
nothing
speech.
more, honestly, horrendous than actually speeches just going on and on and on and
Yeah.
having multiple speeches. And it's great for you as a couple because you relate to it, but everybody else is just.
I hate the inside.
They've just
when
checked
they
out
do
of
the
there.
inside
Inside
jokes.
Oh my God, you
do
don't
remember do you
understand
remember
them.
that one, October,
Yeah.
and everyone in the room is like,
We
Some
don't
people
relate to
nail
it.
an amazing speech.
oh
Yes.
yes.
I've been against speeches my whole life, and then every now and then someone will do a speech.
Someone
I'm
would-
like, yo,
yeah.
I want a speech at my wedding because
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
If someone does that, that's
That is it's
but-
short, sweet, to the point.
Yeah.
It's
Everyone
got
can laugh to
the
the
emotional element. It's
Yeah.
got the happy, fun
That's
elements,
it.
and you've made everyone laugh.
Yeah.
And that's it. It
but
doesn't
that's
need to be
one
like a
in
10-minute
million.
speech.
It's 1 in a million.
Yeah,
let's
it's
be
1 in a
honest.
million. So if I could cut them out, I would.
Yeah, no,
So-
I agree with. We are
Not
100% agreeing that.
Yes. Right. Non-Asian models wearing Asian wear.
Or modelling Asian wear.
Modelling Asian
Yeah.
wear.
Okay, so I was known for doing this a lot because, and I'll explain, I used to get a lot of backlash and a lot of people used to say to me, why are you using non-Asian models for your photo shoots? And it only used to be because there used to be a really lack of Asian girls that had the height. And for our, outfits and lehengas, our publisher at the time really wanted to have the length because there's nothing, at that time, they used to just cater for that one size and that one style and that one length. So they used to always have, especially for the catwalk, Caucasian models that weren't Asian, but they would look Asian. And I used to get a lot of backlash for that. And now, Asian all the way. Has to be. We should be really proud to embrace our beauty of our girls in our industry. And there's so many. And look at people like Neelam Gill that have gone and modeled for Burberry. And,
Wow,
the
yeah.
younger generation that are paving the way. Celebrate everybody. It should be all kind of diverse. Skin tones and cultural models. But I think now, if I was to do things differently, I would definitely put more Asian models.
I rate you for saying that because I think it was very easy for you.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how you'd answer this. And I thought you might answer it. by saying, oh, you know, like whatever makes the client happy or whatever. But I'm glad you owned it and you said, we done it before. I got a lot of backlash and I agree that wasn't right.
It wasn't.
But now
Yeah,
I'm not championing that, and
No.
that's really cool for you.
What
to
about
do
brands
that.
like Gucci? Have you seen Gucci's when they done the catwalk with like people wearing turbans?
Yeah.
And they were
Pogs, yeah.
Yeah. I only said that because you people can be like, oh, why are you saying turbans?
Yeah,
or,
no.
yeah.
I'm saying turbans because like
So everyone can understand.
anyone can understand it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know pug. Anyway, what do you think about that though?
I think it's nice that the kind of Western brands are now embracing Asian culture so much more. It makes you so proud, and they're not doing it in a derogatory way or things like that. They're actually embracing it. I think it's nice that we're having so much diversity now and cultural diversity within the big brands.
I agree,
because
actually.
it's actually then reaching out to a wider demographic audience as well. And even yesterday, like I was telling Serena, I did a shoot for Hello Magazine with a celebrity. So I can't say, but it will be out by the time this podcast comes out. And they got me to creatively direct and style the shoot for Hello, which is going to be like a big spread in the magazine, to show that this is how she would have looked if she'd got married. And it's such a huge thing for me in my career as well, even though I've been a magazine editor, to be featured in Hello Magazine and showing the beauty of our Asian clothes, and not your typical traditional, but just the modern outlook of how a bride will look on her wedding day.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's huge
And
because
that's
you're
key.
educating
Yeah,
now.
man, 100%. We've got to embrace, like, people are like, oh, it's cultural appropriation, this, that, and the other. Like, remember when, like, 9/11 happened and everything, like, Sikhs were getting killed all over the world because they were like, look like Osama bin Laden. I used to go out with my nana, walk down the high street, people were like, Osama bin Laden, like, stuff like that. And I realised that that was a really bad time for Sikhs in turbans because they was getting labelled as Muslims. And not that Muslims are a bad thing, but, like, they was because they didn't know. But like now, we're getting like white people, black people wearing turbans. So that means that people are embracing our crowns on their head. It's cool for them. Like it's becoming a cool thing. Like, okay, I get the religious things about it, but obviously I'm not too clued up on that. But I'm just saying that we should embrace people doing this, like you're saying. Like we should embrace people wearing our stuff. Like that's putting us on a bigger platform, putting us in bigger, like making it more cool for more people.
I think as long as things are done in a respectful way and with education, not blindsided,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
100%.
In a respectful way,
But if
yeah.
people just try and do it as a tick box, completely don't agree with that.
Cool.
Okay, rated or not rated, Dokla.
Rated.
Oh, I fucking hate that shit.
I'm a Gujarati. I love
I
Dokla.
wish I could understand the love for Dokla.
I really tried it, man.
In India, we really tried to
We
love it.
tried
We're
to
like, come
like
on,
it.
in India, this is the place
It's
where
like
it's
eating a
got to be
sponge.
nice.
Oh, but have you tried them fried?
No.
Yeah, see now when you're going to come over to mine, I'm going to
Okay.
fry them for you the next day,
Okay.
and then you will probably see like they're crispy on the outside and then soft on the inside.
Maybe
It
then
just
it's
tastes like
right.
a flipping sponge.
Like a bit of an aloo tikki.
I was
I can't believe you just said that. It's like eating a sponge.
but it is. It's like
You're all the Gujarati is going to be so
the
upset with you now.
consistency of a sponge, and literally, like my mum watches all the Indian dishes anyway, so I can imagine that's what it tastes like anyway.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
man.
wish I could love it.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's a preference. It is a
No.
preference.
Yeah.
It is a preference.
Yeah.
And you know, there's lots of things that people don't like.
Yeah.
But
Maybe
I'm just
the
hoping
crispy dokla, the fried
crispy
one.
dokla,
maybe
the
Sorry.
fried
that's
one.
the way
If
forward.
I fry
right.
anything, I
We're
love
going
that
to
shit.
change their
Fry
preference
anything
on
and I
this.
love it.
You
Living
can
in-
air fry it as well. Make it healthy.
Oh, okay.
Let's leave that bit out. Okay. Living in London.
Rated.
Okay.
I knew you'd tell me.
Has to be.
London
London girl through and through.
They hate it. They think
And
they
it's
come-
where the life is, right?
Yeah.
Literally.
They think they've had a day trip. They're like, we come to Birmingham. It's a big thing. They're like tourists.
Yeah.
They're like,
What is this
like,
weird place?
what is this place? Like,
See, I come up to Birmingham a lot because a lot of my clients are here.
I do actually.
And yeah, so like, you know, literally they get so happy when I'm coming up. But yeah, it's like when you do come up, you like schedule in so many different things at
Yeah.
the same time. So
it's not normal for Londoners to come up. To
Whereas for
Birmingham
me, like,
often.
Yeah.
I'm just like, on to the
Like,
pop
we
to
have to
London.
go to London all the
Yeah.
time. Like us guys, Birmingham people, like if we're like in this kind of like, especially if you're creative or you're career driven, you're in London quite a lot, and it's normal. But the other way around, they're like 2 hours
Yeah.
to Birmingham. Fuck that. That's up north.
well, loads of people, banks have moved here, the radio
Yeah,
stations have
a
moved
lot
here.
is moving here
Birmingham
now.
has had an amazing gentrification, if I, you know, can
Oh,
say. That there's so much going
She
gentrification.
thinks the whole city is shit, and like all of a sudden,
It's really come a long way.
Normally,
Oh, man.
gentrification refers to like an area,
Yeah, that's,
but
like,
she's
really
classified
bad.
the whole
Like-
of the city of
like,
Birmingham.
where like prostitutes are, like drug dealers and shit. Like, so
the whole
she
of
thinks the
Birmingham.
whole of Birmingham was.
I'm going to offend everybody now in Birmingham, aren't we?
That's so funny.
No, but I think it's had really a lot of like, you know, like you got the Ivy here and amazing restaurants, and it's become so hip and happening. Hip and happening. That's what I meant.
We used to be like, there used to be no independent restaurants here.
Yeah.
Shit for food.
Yeah.
But like we are getting.
It's developed so much, and you
has.
actually
BBC's
want a night
moving
out
here,
in
Channel
Birmingham
4.
now.
Yeah.
ITV, they're all moving here.
Yes, they are.
BBC.
It's the new hub.
Big up.
Okay, rated or not rated, Malai on jar.
Malai
Chai.
on jar.
Chai.
Oh,
Or jai, you'd say jai, wouldn't you?
yeah. No, I'm not sure about Malai on jai.
What you saying?
No, not rated. No, not sure about that one. I love my cappuccinos anyway, so I'm a coffee girl. I do love my masala chai. I love my Malai kulfis, but no, not as a combination.
Yeah, not feeling
What are
it.
your thoughts?
Malai and chai. It doesn't bother me, but some people literally have to like
No,
peel
you
it
know
off
when
the
they have
top.
the
Yeah.
little film on top?
Yeah.
That's Malai.
The film. You know the
Oh, you
film?
mean the actual?
film.
Oh,
Wait, what
So
do you
Punjabi
call that?
people
I
say
thought you
Malai.
meant Malai, like
You know
the
Malai,
yeah,
as
yeah,
in
yeah,
Malai.
yeah,
no.
the, even the
Aware
flavour.
about the film that like of like.
Oh no, can't deal with that. No, I can't deal with that. No, that has to go. That
That
ruins
was
the
a
whole
good
experience. Get stuck on your lips. and-
That was such a good response. That was it. She's like, oh no.
No, I think you were talking about the Malai, like as in the Malai like flavour.
Yeah, it's a Punjabi.
Oh, so what, I wonder, what would you guys
We call it chal.
chal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we
that's
call it the chal on
word.
the tea. Yeah.
Okay,
go on.
so designer lenga replicas.
Ooh. This is really controversial for me because I've got brands that obviously create replica lengas of the designers, and then I work with the top designer brands in the Asian community that stock all the designers. And so it's like, and even when we were at the magazine, you would be having the designer brands featuring, like the boutiques, like the stockists of them, and then you'd have the ones that were replicating. And even at the time then, I used to get, again, a backlash saying, how are you allowing, as editor of a magazine, these replicas to be, you know, like literally like copied outright from the designers? But then if you look at it even in our mainstream industry, you've got Primark. They do replicas. They just don't obviously do it so outright. Sometimes they do. And then you've got the top designer brands, and everyone's receptive of that. So, you know, there used to be a lot of debate going on about that. Why can't they do it in the Asian world? But I think don't replicate. I just think it's just wrong. A lot of time and vision and creativity has gone into that in terms of manufacturing, into designing those outfits. You know, even like we say about a shoot, how much goes into it. Imagine how much has gone in to curating that outfit.
Yeah.
And when you meet those designers that are renowned in the industry and you see their story and how much detail and precision goes
They're
into creating
geniuses,
each,
aren't they?
they are creative geniuses. You then completely change your perspective on that.
But it's not just like it's the outfit as well, but
Yeah.
they always curate these mad campaigns. don't they?
Campaigns and
Yeah.
their catwalks
And
and
I
their
It's all
events.
interlinked and it all means
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
and it's
And it's
artistic.
It's a whole production.
And it's not
Arti-
just the
yeah.
principle, it's actually how the outfits look. They don't look the same when they're
They don't
replicated.
look the same.
Unless,
They
I
don't
mean,
look the same
I
or
have
feel.
never seen a bang on replica. Or, like,
But wherever
I'll
there's
be honest.
Indians, there's going to be this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just gonna
because
happen.
they, you know, the
in
ones
the
that are
Western world as
creating the
well.
replicas are trying to cater for people that can't afford. Not everyone's
Yeah,
going to be
which
able
I
to afford a
understand.
£10,000 lenga or a £6,000 lenga. So they're trying to cater for that, but you know what, make it different.
Yeah.
Be inspired by it, but don't
That's it, yeah.
completely
Yeah.
Be
replicate
inspired.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
be
just buy
inspired.
something within your means. That's
Yeah.
just as beautiful.
I believe in
but
that
not
as
a
well.
replica designer. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Like £10,000 lengas and stuff. It's very nice. I remember when I first, like me and Serena first started talking about this kind of stuff, and I was like, "Oh, how much would you spend on a lenga?" She was like, "I think about 10,000 each." And I was like, "What? You're gonna spend £30,000 on your wedding outfits?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's just normal." Anyway,
Yeah,
that's not
that's the
happening now.
norm. That's
But-
the norm.
Anyway, that was a big shock to me. But like, for me, I was like, we don't have £30,000. How are you going to spend £30,000 when you don't have it? That's like me saying I want a Lamborghini, and I'll buy one when I can't afford one. So like, you can't do it. Like, I don't drive a Lamborghini. I drive a van. Like that's because of what I can't afford. So like, just look within your means and just do that, and just be happy and content with it. And then one day, when you can afford that lenga, work really
Absolutely.
hard, wear it, and wear it. It doesn't have to be your own wedding. You can, you know, renew your vows or do something else. Like you can do whatever you want to do. Just at this moment in time, live within your means
Yeah.
because like,
Absolutely.
like we're
Yeah.
But there's so much pressure, especially
Yeah.
with social media, and
Yeah.
you attend these weddings, and everybody wants, it's an aspiration, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to wear that lehenga, and they
Yeah.
work, and some people really work hard
yeah.
to save up for
But
their
I was
wedding
just
day,
about
and I
to
have the
say,
utmost respect for them.
same. But I was about to say that if you're somebody, right, like myself, who
But-
loves her designer lehenga, and you've worked extra hard,
Hard.
and saved
Okay, can I
extra
say?
more, then I feel like that's deserving.
Okay. If you save extra hard for it,
Yeah.
that would be like similar to me saving extra hard for like a Rolex. I'm not a watch. I'm not a watch person. I don't have any watches. I've got an Apple Watch, but I'd love to have a Rolex or like I love to have watches because I do love that kind of stuff. That's cool. You can save up for it because it means something to you. Like I would never buy a Rolex for somebody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would never buy a Rolex for somebody else. I'd never be like to impress Anisha.
Yeah.
I'd never be like I need to impress Taryn. I need to.
It's
so
for you.
I'm a sick guy. I'd do it literally for me, and it'd bring me so much pleasure. Same with cars. I'd love cars. I'd always buy cars for myself. I'd enjoy driving them. I would never ever buy a car to impress someone else. So if this person has saved up really hard and they bought an outfit for £10,000, I fully rate them for it. But if they're only doing that because they want to one
Yeah.
up someone else,
No,
you're
that's
never
wrong.
going to be happy. That
Yeah.
10 grand ain't going to get you no
That
happiness.
biggest reward has got to be for you
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you worked hard to,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
achieve that,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's that
100.
landmark for you,
100%,
right?
yeah.
And you're actually then celebrating through rewarding yourself with something that I think, because people say let's save up, we're going to get it. It's like, no, live your life now.
Yeah.
Enjoy it yourself.
Yeah.
When our parents are always saying save up for what, when we're not here one day.
it's true.
Actually, you're given one life, one opportunity. Enjoy it. Live
Yeah.
your life to the max now.
Yeah.
Yeah, live it to the max now.
And within your
save.
means.
And
yeah.
save. And save. Absolutely.
And save and do that all within your means, innit?
That's it.
Where
Okay.
are we?
Rated or not rated? Moving in before marriage.
Rated.
Okay.
100%. Everybody that I've spoken to have one thing that they've said, that something didn't work out, a relationship didn't work out, or they're having a really tough time because they didn't know the partner that they were marrying. I only had a conversation with one of my friends only 2-3 weeks ago, saying that she wished she lived with him before she married him.
Oh, gosh.
Because they would have just got to understand each other better. Marriage is a huge step.
Yeah,
You
it is
are
massive.
literally going to be waking up and going to sleep to this person for the rest of your life. You've got to ensure that you are compatible. You know everything about one another, your flaws, what upsets them, what doesn't, whether you're compatible. And when you spend that much time with someone, you know everything about them.
100%.
And if you can't, for cultural reasons, because I
Yeah.
understand that
Yeah,
for
yeah.
us, especially within the Asian community, not a lot of parents would say that, okay, they agree with, a couple living together before they get married. We are living in a modern world now where I think couples are being parents are being more open
Way
to the
more.
idea. I say go on holiday. I would say definitely
But
go
then
on holiday.
I feel like even a holiday is a bad idea because on holiday everything's all nice
Nice
and
and, yeah.
Do you get? So it's not it's
Yeah.
not a reality.
I feel like though, me and Serena want you.
'Cause you guys didn't live
was there-
together, right?
You was there today.
Yeah.
My mum literally gave her a key. She made a key. She got a key made,
That was
and she goes,
awesome.
"Give this to Serena. She come and go whenever she wants." And so I gave it to Serena today. Literally, she's in and out of my house all the time.
I think that's
there's
we're
not much I'd
lucky.
be. I don't think I'd be. I can't
It'll
imagine.
be interesting to see when
Yeah.
it happens. Well,
I
then we
can't
can
be-
reflect on this and give our verdict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a year's what are we now? February. In a year's
Yeah.
time, I'm gonna let you know if I was surprised by anything like
Yeah.
Serena. But
Yeah.
I think that we've been pretty good.
We've been
our
lucky.
families have supported us, let
Yeah.
us do things. We haven't been on holidays. We've only been for
Work
works,
trips. Yeah.
which kind of became holidays.
Yeah.
But when we went to Punjab, everyone was like, "Hold on a minute,
You're
all
not
the
married.
family,
You
right?
guys were away for such
You're
a
not
long
married.
time.
And we
yeah.
weren't married in
They're
the
like-
Ben.
They're like, you
Yeah.
guys aren't married and stuff." And Laurie.
Yeah. You celebrated it there, right?
So no, we never really celebrated it, but people came to the house because they all knew we was there, and they all assumed we was married. So it was like, "Oh, these guys just get married. They have to give money to us for Laurie." And then the people that we were staying with, my mum and Honey, they were like, "They're not married." And they're like, "What?" There's 30 people there. They're all like,
so
"What?" They're all like,
shocked.
whispering. They're like, "They're not married. What? They're not married. They're here. What the hell are they doing?" And we're just laughing.
It's like
That's
you've
it.
done something so wrong,
Yeah.
right? You're like,
As long as we're
uh-oh.
happy, our parents are
Yeah,
happy. That's the
yeah.
main thing,
As long as your parents know and
Yeah.
they're comfortable with it
They're cool with it.
and you're honest with them, then it's
Yeah.
fine.
Agreed.
Okay, cool. Having best friends of an opposite sex.
Rated.
Okay.
I
Having
think,
best friends of the opposite sex.
yeah.
Actually, we should have said having best friends of the opposite sex in a relationship.
So meaning like you two were best friends, right, in a relationship?
No,
No.
Meaning like, me and Serena, we're in a relationship,
Yeah.
and I've got a best friend.
And it's
You're my
female.
best friend.
Yeah, and it's female.
Yeah.
I think it could. Oh, okay. I'm not allowed to sit on the fence here because it could work either way, right?
Yeah.
I think the benefits of having an opposite sex best friend is they will be able to see things more from your perspective as a woman, and they will advise them unless they have other agendas.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that I have had male best friends, and I think for me the way I look at things and different perspectives on things has really developed and really has changed things, because guys look at things very differently from the way women think of things. So when you've got a male best friend that will guide you in a completely different way, your female best friend and your guy best friend, they're never going to give you that.
Have you had a male best friend when you've been in a relationship?
I have had a male best
And
friend.
how
yes.
did you find that, navigating that? Was it tricky?
Yeah. It was.
That's the thing. I just feel like practically it just can't work.
No.
So difficult, man.
Yeah.
It is.
You're always going to lean to that person when you're at a low point.
Yes.
So it's almost, you're in a vulnerable state. And I don't know. It's difficult, man, isn't it?
Yeah.
That person can take advantage.
As
and
long as you
manipulate that
make,
situation.
as long as there's boundaries
Yeah.
and you make your partner feel comfortable and your best friend makes your partner feel comfortable and there's that trust.
Yeah.
It can
Yeah.
work. I have seen
it. can only
it.
work with, I think,
Certain.
certain people.
Yeah.
I feel like it can work if it's in a work scenario. So say if you work somewhere and there was a girl there and you like were really close to her because you did a lot of work and stuff, then I feel like it's a bit different because there's a purpose for that best friend. Or like say if it was like a little girl that you grew up with and the families know each other and it's purely like platonic or something, maybe
Then that could work.
Could work as
Because
well.
you've grown up
Reading
together.
the thesaurus today. Look at
Yeah.
that, platonic.
Reading
Thesaurus? You mean a dictionary?
Thesaurus?
What's a thesaurus?
It's when you you find synonyms for words. in
Yeah,
it.
yeah. But why would you say thesaurus? That people would normally say dictionary.
No, because you've been reading the thesaurus because you're trying to find synonyms. Platonic.
Oh, okay, fine.
He
fine.
is
Trying
right.
to expand your vocabulary.
Oh, shit.
Brian,
Dictionary gives you the meaning of words, whereas thesaurus gives you options.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
There you go.
There you
Stick
go.
your side.
Yeah, it is, right? You little fucking grammar school girl.
Okay, last one. I think this is a really good one to end. Rated or not rated, remortgaging your house for a wedding.
Oh, I would no,
Not really.
not rated. Remortgage your house to buy another house,
Yeah.
but not for your wedding. Definitely not. And I hear people that take out loans for their weddings as well. Don't do it. Like you said, just live by your means. Just do what you can afford. You can have such a beautiful, intimate wedding and it just be as spectacular to an extravagant wedding. And again, cut down your list, your guest list. I was saying this to another bride's wedding that I'm planning. If you have not spoken to your guests in a year and you've not been in contact with them, you don't have to feel obliged to invite them. You really don't. If you don't have that personal relationship, they've not checked on you, you haven't checked in on them, you know. But it's with the old, it's with our parents.
Yeah.
It's that you were invited to their wedding, so you've got to invite them to your wedding. Cut down on your guest list. Have your really nearest and dearest personal friends and families there, but do not remortgage your house for a wedding. If you have to do it, you know, it depends on everyone's financial situation. Not everyone
Has got the money there.
have got the money to,
Or something could have happened.
yeah,
you know.
financially, or they don't have parents.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, you hear stories like that. Then in the extreme, you know, extreme cases, yes, I would say fine. If there
As long
is
as
no
it's
other
affordable.
option,
Yeah.
and you feel that you can sustain it afterwards by keeping up with the repayments, but it should be your last result.
Last resort, definitely.
But it does break my heart if people have to go
I
to
know.
those extents, and people do.
I know.
Yeah, they do. It's crazy.
Sometimes we don't know how blessed and fortunate we are.
Yeah.
That we got our parents, or you've worked so hard and you saved your money. My mum's been taking money out of my account from such a young age to save for it's called the wedding fund, the pot.
She was at fucking million pounds in there.
And now it's like, you know, when I turned 30 now, it was like, okay, we're going to now and you know, invest it in a house. And I think now I'm just so much more happy and content. It's that fairy tale dream wedding that I thought that I always wanted. As I've grown older, it's really changed. Because now I want something quite intimate, something very different, something that's going to be personal to me, and I definitely probably would. And I know we talked about this as well. It's having a destination wedding.
Yeah.
That'd be so sick.
Yeah.
Well, we can't
What
wait for that.
destinations would it be, do you reckon?
Ooh. I'd love Rajasthan. Because I think, and you
That's
guys
the
have just been
dream,
there from there. I think that would be great.
Yeah.
There's some beautiful spots in the whole of Europe as well. Italy, Amalfi Coast. Some really, really true gems, like, because you've just got to go somewhere where it's going to be hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ideally.
Italy and them places, I love them places, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But been on the amount of destinations of weddings that I've done over my career now. I've done Goa and Rajasthan a few times, and Punjab, Delhi as well. Nothing beats India just for the level of service. Like,
Food.
And the
level
options
of,
and the
options, the
food.
level of
Decor.
service.
Oh.
Like, and then if you can get it right, because Rajasthan has everything. It has the mountainous hills with the like kind of desert kind of vibes. It's completely different to the rest of India. So it's beautiful with the palaces and mahalls and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and the lakes in Udaipur, or you can go to Jaipur, or loads of places in Rajasthan.
Yeah.
So that gets it all in, but you're just never gonna get that level of service like anywhere else. Whereas to get that level of service in Italy or somewhere, you'd pay $250,000.
Yeah, it's
plus.
ridiculous.
Italy
isn't
is
it?
extortionate.
Yeah.
It really is.
So expensive.
It's the
And the level of
difference.
service is take it or leave it. But for the vibes, though, I get why you can get it for the vibe. If you can just really afford it, for the vibe in Italy.
Yeah,
Like
and the
that.
flights are cheaper for guests as well, isn't it?
Flights are cheaper for guests, but then it works its way out with the hotels and everything.
True, that's true. Yeah.
Because in India, you can just get the whole wedding paid for the whole week, and then so all the food's paid for all the guests. They've just got paid for their rooms and the flights, which isn't that expensive. Whereas in Italy, it probably wouldn't be like that, would it? Because they'd have to get meals.
But
and
loads of
food.
people makes holidays out of it as well, like you guys did, right?
Yeah.
Make the most of it. You're home.
Yeah.
You literally are. You get
That's
everything
it,
there.
yeah.
And India is so advanced. They honestly, they're from their nightlives to their foods to their restaurants. They're so far ahead of us that you just think, even the way that they dress
You can get
with their
everything.
fashion.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was about to say as well. For Indian weddings, there's no better place to do it.
No.
There's literally anything you can. I was DJing on a DJ truck for the Brahat. You wouldn't get that here. It's fully custom made, everything. You can get anything you want,
I know.
and they've got it. And
They've
the
got
best
anything.
All your
designers.
dreams come true in India.
If you could do
Literally.
this whole thing all over again, and we had budget was not an option, I could choose anywhere in the world to get married.
India,
My place would be India.
100%.
Yeah.
Would yours as well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
We'd be in
Maybe
India
one day, Nisha, when we renew our 10-year
When you
anniversary.
renew your
take
10-year
you.
vows, we're going to go to India.
That's it.
That's it. Or you're just going to come with me when I get married, and then you're going to plan my wedding there.
Yeah.
I'll plan yours.
We'll live our wedding destination.
Me and Serena's brother will plan it for you.
Oh God! I think everyone will just go missing, or things will just go missing
We'll let the wrong
because.
venue.
Anisha, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast.
Oh my God.
You've been an amazing guest, and I'm looking forward to the journey now
We're
until
gonna
the wedding.
Are you guys ready for me?
Yes.
We are
Yeah.
ready.
I'm
We
not.
need you.
I don't know if I'm ready actually saying that.
Why are you not ready?
Your family is definitely not ready for it.
Geez, I knew she's going to be on their case.
We're vlogging the whole thing from
We
start
are.
to finish. We're making a new channel. We've just vlogged India.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the new channel's coming out, the new vlogs are coming out, and then all of this process with the wedding is coming out. There's
With
loads of
Anisha,
content.
wedding meetings
Yeah.
and coordination and all that
And
stuff.
we're doing this because we want to bring as much value to you guys as possible.
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to book us or book Anisha, or at least get value from us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't
and
wait.
Just entertainment as well.
Yes.
And you can watch my
It's
stuff
going to be
happen.
an amazing journey, and I can't wait to.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be
Aw.
epic. Thanks,
gonna be
guys.
fun.
Thank you.
Can't wait, my beauties. We're going to have so much fun to watch this space.
Oh, I love that podcast.
That was really
nice.
good. I love the questions at the end.
Did you like it?
Yeah, because I didn't know about